Good morning, everyone. Finally, I'm back on the East Coast of the good old USA. I really enjoyed my time on the West Coast with at the Final Cut Pro Creator Summit. I've met a lot of new friends. One of my friends is Brett FX. He's good morning with Coffee Brewing. Let me just turn this down a little bit. How do you turn? There we go. Let's put that down. There we go. More reasonable. And of course, our good friend from Philadelphia, Spot Lewis. Good morning from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So glad to hear about Scrolling Timeline. You and me both. So here's the deal this morning. Another good morning from Jamaica. Here's the deal this morning. We are going to, I have dozens of clips from the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Now, these are just snippets of the full-length version of the clips that I have. So I'm just playing snippets, 10, 15 seconds of each one. And I interviewed everybody at the Creative Summit. Everybody was good. This Creative Summit was the energy level was so incredibly high, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Brett FX, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia area. Okay, there you go. That's East Coast, right? It's kind of East Coast. It's certainly not Central or West, is it? I like people on the East Coast. That always makes me... There's lots of people on the West Coast. We get some filmmakers and Final Cut Pro users on the East Coast. That's what I'm interested in. The West Coast is fine, completely fine. By the way, please, this is going to be a long one, so get your coffee. This is going to be a long one, so get your coffee. We're going to talk about two or three things. Number one, the Creative Summit. Brett says, East Coast, yes, absolutely. Total East Coast, yes, that's what I thought. Here's our friend Torgrim. What's new? There's a lot new, Torgrim. I know you know what's happening. We got Final Cut Pro 10.7 was announced, as we've been talking about forever on this show, on Final Cut TV. Forever we've been talking about it, so that's not a surprise from anyone. Whew. Still just relaxing, not doing a whole lot of my normal things. Just got back Thursday, early evening. It's only been less than 48 hours ago, so I'll get back to normal things, my normal schedule as usual. So we got everything we expected from the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. 10.7, I kept saying 10.7, either at the Apple event or the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, and I'd prefer the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit because that's what we're going there for. And they did something really, really cool. So we're at the Final Cut Pro, we're at the Apple Park, the spaceship campus, waiting on the Final Cut Pro team to come in and give us a presentation, which is exactly what they did. And then before we went in, Logic 10.8 was announced on the Apple website. Logic 10.8 was announced on the Apple website, and I'm going, do not announce Final Cut Pro 10.7 until we hear it from the Final Cut Pro team. So that's exactly what happened. They demoed Final Cut Pro 10.7 for us. Exclusive worldwide debut of Final Cut Pro 10.7 to the attendees of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Exclusive worldwide debut of Final Cut Pro 10.7, public, I'm not talking about the beta, to the attendees of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. Once the attendees of the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, all of us that went there, saw the demonstration of Final Cut Pro 10.7, then Apple announced it on their website. We saw it first. We saw it demoed. Then the announcement was made. It was hours after 10.8, Logic 10.8 came out. Did Apple set any machineware, I guess you mean Mac specs for the scrolling timeline? I know I didn't hear any. We'll have to wait till it comes out to see if there are limitations, whether the Intel versions can do it. I know Apple's Final Cut Pro future is solidly resting on Apple Silicon, as you might expect. Doesn't mean it's not going to be working on Intel machines, but the future of Final Cut Pro as the Mac OS is solidly based in Apple Silicon, especially the new M3 machines. I'm not going to rush out and get an M3 machine yet, but I might get one. I'm looking maybe at the studio. My gosh, we got a lot of thumbs up already. Thank you very much. Got a lot of thumbs up already. Let's take a look at the fall colors. Look at those beautiful fall colors in my Final Cut TV studio backyard. Let me see, what is this? Final Cut TV backyard. There we go. Look at that. There's a leaf that just fell down. I'm going to pull this over to here. There we go. And I'm going to adjust this. Just going to say, edit text. I'm doing this live, as you might know by now. And I'm going to, let me see, style dynamic, keying, effect, shadow, nope. Style, text color. I'm going to change the opacity to about 40%. Save. Save. There we go. And we're going to take this and put it right up here in the corner. Look at that. Live television. Final Cut TV. Final Cut TV. So I broadcast from the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit. I'm the only person that was broadcasting live from the Creative Summit expansively. I posted 8 hours of video over 6 different live streams, each one over an hour. It's on my YouTube channel if you want to catch up, that's step by step by step. Had a great time. Future Media Concepts, Apple, all my friends, all my Final Cut Pro friends from around the globe. I got to meet them all again in person. We had a great time. The energy level was through the roof. I'm telling you, this is one of the best creative summits I've ever been to. The energy level was through the roof. It's hard to explain exactly. Well, the number one is we got an update, so that's always a bonus. How did the Q&A go? Does the Final Cut Pro team have plans to add transcriptions to Final Cut Pro? I'm saying they do. They did not say that. I'm saying the transcriptions are going to be following sometime, well, who the heck knows? Yes, they are going to, according to me, not according to the team. As you might expect, the team does not comment on future roadmaps, but they commented around future roadmaps. They commented around future roadmaps. So one of the things that they commented on, yes, there's obviously, absolutely, there's hope for that. Now we know that Final Cut Pro will update early 2024 for Vision Pro, and can surmise that's the main reason for such lackluster normal feature updates. No, I disagree with you. This is Final Cut Pro 10.7, the beginning. This is 10.7.0. This is the new era of Final Cut Pro. 10.7 is the new era, the very beginning for the next probably several years. This is the beginning. Of course, there's going to be new features added along the way. This is only the beginning. Now, I'm not going to disagree with you. In the past, up to 10.4, when we had a full number update like 10.7, we had a lot of features. One of the things that Final Cut Pro team said is that they are going to update Final Cut Pro over the next few months, and they are going to update Final Cut Pro over the next 5 or 6 years. The roadmap is internal for them, and there's updates they are going to be doing. However, they are going to update Final Cut Pro on their timetable, not on ours. They're going to update it on their timetable, what they want to do. That's what they're doing. Now, look, I've waited for a scrolling timeline for 15 years, and it finally came. I'm not the only one. It was one of their top requests. The scrolling timeline is one of their top requests that they received over the years. I started requesting it back in the classic days because I really missed it. I'm ecstatic that the scrolling timeline finally got here. Since you already have to have Ventura 3.4, I'd think it'd probably work on anything supporting 10.7. You have to have Ventura 13.4. Oh, yeah. There you go. Great videos, Richards. Thanks for posting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. We had thousands of viewers over the 5-day. Good morning, Richard. Tangier, I got a video of you coming up at the Expo night. That was, I don't know if you remember, but it was very, very funny. Stay tuned. Tangier was there. Tangier is a good friend of mine. We've met online initially on Final Cut TV. He's been on several, 3 or 4 of those with us, and we got to meet finally in person. So that is very, very cool. Today, Apple has announced that Final Cut Pro will gain spatial video editing at some point next year. Excellent. So there's another update. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. And I got hearts coming in. That's fantastic. So there's a pre-announcement of another update coming up. This is, once again, 10.7 is the beginning of the Final Cut Pro era 10.7. This is not the end. This is not the middle. The beginning, the very first step. So let's see what else comes in. Now, would I like to see it updated faster? Of course. Of course I would. Absolutely I would. I'm not saying that that I'm satisfied. Oh, this is the panacea of Final Cut Pro updates. No, but number one, I'm glad they updated it all, because in 2019 at the Creative Summit, there was no update. There was no update in 2019. This time, they once again saved the worldwide debut announcement of 10.7 for the attendees of the Creative Summit, and then the rest of the world. Now, they said it's coming out later this month, the Apple press release. Matter of fact, let's go over there and look at that. Let's go over there and look at that. Here we go. Let me get this off the screen. I don't want that over there. Let's do this. Apple, come on. There we go. Let's do this, and then we are going to do this. Wow, what the heck? It's supposed to be showing, let me see what the heck's going on here. It's supposed to be showing secondary display. Here we go. I had it on the primary display for some odd reason. Final Cut Pro takes video editing on Mac and iPad to the next level with powerful new features. So they pre-announced updates to Final Cut Pro across, and they said these updates will be available to Final Cut Pro later on the App Store. So once again, what the heck is that? I got to pay attention to what's going on here. That wasn't supposed to be there. That was my iPhone camera. My MacBook Pro camera, which was not even supposed to be on. Let me take care of that right now. That ain't supposed to be on. Let's try this again. MacBook. All right, now I got to change this camera. It's ridiculous. FaceTime. Oh, ridiculous. I can't keep track of everything. There we go. Now we got it. It was my MacBook Pro camera pointed at the ceiling. That was ridiculous. So anyway, here we go back over here. Let me turn this back off. And these updates available to Final Cut Pro will be available later this month in the App Store. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. I'd be surprised if it's not before Thanksgiving. So we have a lot of new features, mainly timeline type features. Let me just put this down so it's not shining in my face so much. We got a lot of comments here. Apple released iOS 17.2 Developer Beta 2 on Thursday, enabling iPhone 15 Pro hardware to capture spatial video for the first time. So that's the beta of iOS. That's interesting. I'm not going to be doing that, but other people, I understand. Do you think 10.7 will be compatible with Ventura? Are you upgrading to Mac OS Sonoma? No, I am not. Not unless I'm forced to. I don't think so. They didn't say anything about that. I don't think the press release did either. I'm pretty sure it'll probably be available on Ventura, but there might be a feature or two that you'll need Sonoma for. Final Cut Pro 10.8 already on our horizon with 12 months? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. I think you're just being facetious. But 4 updates in the next 5 years? No, we'll get more than that. I'm sure we'll get more than that. I really want them to include audio support because I'm already 360 video support in View and Oculus 3 headquarters. That's something I really don't care too much about, to be honest with you, Tangier. I like just straight ahead nuts and bolts editing features, but I understand other people want different things. I mean, that's fine. Of course, it all meant moves toward Vision Pro. That's not going to be the main feature set of Final Cut Pro. I'm sorry. That's not going to be it. That's not going to be it. That's just going to be one of the things. Everybody wants their own set of things. They only just required Ventura with 10.6.9, so the scrolling timeline might have actually been the reason for the huge jump. That's a good point from our friend Brett. Thanks, Richard, for giving us updates for those who couldn't attend the summit. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. That's a very nice thing to say. Got a lot of thumbs up already. Greeting from Denmark, and thank you for your reporting from Samito, whatever. Good morning, Richard. Thumbs up to you. Thank you very much. I would like ambisonic audio support. I'm doing 360 video project for Oculus 2 headsets. That sounds very specific. That's not going to be on my top list, that's for sure. 1/3 encouraging Final Cut Pro news this week and long overdue. Thanks, Richard, for the detailed coverage you provided. Well, I'm not quite done yet. We got some more things to talk about today that went on during the Q&A with the Final Cut Pro team. There's some very encouraging news. Good evening, Richard, from Helsinki, Finland. Yari, our friend Yari. Do you have a concern about the emphasis on spatial video editing for now a niche kind of thing? I'm not concerned. That's just like 360 video. That's just like 3D text updates. Yes, they're going to do that somewhat for people that want it. I don't want it. I'm not going to wear those goggles. As a matter of fact, the photograph of the father looking at his children with the goggles in the kitchen is creepy to me. There's no way that I would talk to my children with goggles on my face. I want them to see my eyes, and I want to see their eyes. So I'm sorry, I just don't. That's not for me at this point. And it's not Minority Report, okay? Everybody keeps saying Minority Report. It's not Minority Report. Tom Cruise didn't wear no big bulbous goggles. He just did it up in the air. So it's not Minority Report. Now, if you want it, that's fine. I'm not saying that. It's not for me, not at this point. I want nuts and bolts features for Final Cut Pro, like a scrolling timeline. That's a nut and bolt feature that everybody else has, and they were missing for all this time. I'm not concerned about that. It's just one of the things that they will have. And it could demand a Final Cut Pro team focuses resources primarily to this possible minimization. No, I don't think so. They have different divisions in the Final Cut Pro team. I think they had heads of each division there when we were there, maybe 4, 5, or 6 different people in charge of different things. Okay. No, they might have an Oculus team that, of course, they're going to do some of that. But just like 360 video, what happened to 360 video? Oh, it was a big deal, big deal, big deal. No, it didn't go anywhere. Okay, 360 video didn't go anywhere in Final Cut Pro. It's there. You can use it if you want it. Spatial video is the same thing. How many people are going to buy $3,500 pair of the goggles? I'm not. There's no way. I'm going to spend my money on a MacBook Pro. So let's go over here. And it's not. I'm not saying anything against the goggles. I'm just saying they're not for me. Okay. You want them, that's fine. They're not for me. They're just not for me. We got a lot of comments here. 10.7 seems better than I originally thought. Looking forward to it. I may sell my M1 Max 64. Yeah, I'm in the same boat though. I'm not going to get a 14 now. I might get at some point. I'm not in any hurry. This MacBook Pro is fantastic. It's very powerful. I have the M1 Max as well, 16-inch. I will get another 16-inch. So Brett says he puts his money on Tuesday. They don't want to mess with Thanksgiving, Black Friday, etc. I think it's going to be out before Thanksgiving. Absolutely, it's going to be out. I wouldn't be surprised next week, next Tuesday, like you said. Sonoma seems to have broken many Sony XTCam H.2.2 broadcast master formats. Just a heads up. Thank you very much, Sebastian, for that information. I didn't get to ask the Pro I've seen why there's so little Final Cut Pro in their ads of their Macs, desktop and laptop, because they're selling. Final Cut Pro people already have Macs. Final Cut Pro people already have Macs. They're trying to sell Macs to people that perhaps don't have Macs, people that are using Premiere on Windows and DaVinci Resolve on Windows. They're trying to sell to people that don't already have Macintoshes. If you're running Final Cut Pro, you already have a Macintosh. They don't have to sell you a Macintosh. That's the reason. Can wait for the update as I in the moment am transferring all my old mini DV tapes to SSD. I've done that many times. I really like doing that. To recut videos with my children growing up, scrolling timeline will be a time saver. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been on, like I said, it's been on. People that follow me know that. That's been my #1 request. Now, I'm not crossing it off over at fcpx.tv until they actually release it, but I've practiced. So question, is the faster waveform drawing only limited to the M3 Max? No, I don't think so. I think it's limited. I think it's not limited. I think it's mostly Apple Silicon Macs. They didn't say anything about anything being M3 Max. They just talking about Apple Silicon being the future of Final Cut. It's also the future of the Mac OS, and it's the future of Final Cut Pro. Apple Silicon for sure. Does that mean it's going to stop working on Intel machines? No. It's going to keep working the same performance level that you have presently, and it'll keep working. I'm going to say as long as Mac OS runs on Intel machines, probably, I'm talking about updates. Now, here's the thing. Just because they update them, suppose when they update Mac OS and it no longer runs on Intel machines, that doesn't mean your machine stops working. That means don't update to the latest Mac OS. Don't update to any app that won't run on Intel machines. That's all. That's all that means. Man, we got a lot of comments here. Practical built-in request, better easing in and out, keyframe controls, dynamic carriage return, text box like Alex 4D's text box, Ken Burns hold controls. Those are nuts and bolts, Tangier. Absolutely. Those are nuts and bolts, things that I like. I want everybody to have kind of all the features that they want. Look, I waited 15 years and I got a scrolling timeline. You can't imagine how ecstatic I was. We have comments about that from different people on the clips. when you want me to start playing clips, let me know. This is probably going to be a 2 or 3 hour show today. What about audio synchronization? What does synchronize audio, but only a few clips? Okay, there's nothing. They don't announce a roadmap of features, but they did say they have plans for Final Cut Pro for the next months and for the next 5 or 6 years. I was at the Q&A, as you well know. They in the back of the room where I was filming. No, I wasn't filming. I'm sorry, I couldn't film that. I wasn't filming, but that's where I stood normally when I filmed the other sessions. Back in the back of the room, they said, "Who has a question?" And I waited. I said, "I'll wait a little bit." Looked around. Nobody's raising their hands, and everybody's afraid. I said, "I got a question." So I took the microphone, I walked up the aisle so they could see who they were talking to. And I said, "The first thing I want to say is, whoever on that panel is responsible for the scrolling timeline, thank you. Thank you after all these years." I told them that. And then the next question, based on feedback from these Final Cut TV lives, I said, there's millions of Final Cut Pro editors out there. And in that Final Cut Pro universe, I see a lot of concern that Final Cut is going to go the way of Aperture. I see a lot of concern out there about that. What can you tell us? It wasn't me specifically. I didn't think that, but I've seen a lot of concern. Aperture. So I brought that question up. It was the first question, and I'm the one that asked it. And they said, "Don't worry about that. Final Cut Pro is absolutely not going the way of Aperture." And they reiterated some things. And they had a great quote that they said about that. And I asked them, "Can I quote you on that?" And they said, "I prefer that you don't, so I won't quote what they said." Final Cut Pro isn't going anywhere, okay? Is it updated as fast as we'd like it to be? I'll say it's not updated as fast as I would like it to be, but I'm very satisfied with Final Cut Pro 10.7 because it's the first step. Final Cut Pro 10.7 era is here. Well, as soon as it comes out. 10.7 is the first step. They stopped, apparently, 10.5, 10.6, and now 10.7. When they do a full number update, it's not the gigantic amount of features that we're used to having with 10.0, 10.1 to 10.4. Okay, apparently that's not going to happen. They're going to put out a group of features for this update, a group of features for this update, a group, not this giant laundry list of features. Apparently that's what's happening. So 10.7 is the beginning of the 10.7 era of Final Cut Pro. 10.7.0. Are there going to be more features along the 10.7 timeline? Of course there are. Of course there are. I'd be shocked if they don't have text-based editing at some point. This is just the first group of features. I was shocked when here's what happened. They said, this is a new version of Final Cut. They showed 3 or 4 different icons up there. And I was in the front row, by the way, at the Apple presentation. And I looked at the icons and I said to myself, that looks like a scrolling timeline icon. Sure enough it was a scrolling timeline. I was ecstatic about that. Hate autocorrect should have said from the summit. I'm not sure what that means. You hate it? Can't you turn it off? Captions in Final Cut Pro 10.7.1 or Final Cut Pro 10.7.2. The captions are the number one request that I'm seeing right now. For the longest time, it was scrolling timeline, it was dupe detection. Those are major ones. Now captions. Well, not only captions, but text-based editing and auto captions. Absolutely, I'm sure that's coming. They did Storm Smith did a big presentation about people who have hearing disability and how important captions are. I guarantee you Final Cut team is on that. So at 10.7, 10.7.2, 10.7.1, 10.7.2, I am sure we are going to get auto captions, text-based editing. What a great comment. Watching your channel on Saturday mornings makes my coffee taste so much better. Well, thank you for reminding me that, Ernest. I appreciate it. I just spilled coffee on my shirt. I started laughing when I was drinking it. There we go. Somewhere along here. Maybe you can't see it. It's out of sight. But anyway, thank you for saying that's funny. Very, very funny. You make me laugh. This audience is the best live Final Cut Pro audience anywhere. I don't care. You're the best. You ask the best questions. You make me laugh all the time. Greetings from Netherlands. I'm using Final Cut Pro with plugins. That's why I don't miss built-in features. I want to see improved tracking of key points, etc. Absolutely. Did you ask them at Final Cut Pro Summit? Thank you. I have a top 100 list, as many of you know, and one of the things is I'd like to, I compare the keyframing in Final Cut Pro as like keyframing on an Etch-a-Sketch. If you don't know what that is, it's a little toy that has squiggly lines that you have a vertical and horizontal controls, but that's all you have. You don't have any diagonal controls. And I humorously, this is all humor, say that keyframing in Final Cut Pro is like keyframing on an Etch-a-Sketch. I'd like to see the fantastic motion keyframe editor inside of Final Cut Pro, or at least something along those lines. I'm not sure what that comment means, so I'm going to leave it out. You have to, if you're going to make a comment, you have to please comment in English. I can't read other languages. They backed off the new Media Kit framework in Sonoma that could have paved the way for more and better codec support from other developers. I have no idea about that, Tangier. You're telling me. And audio mixing, just like Premiere does, change the duration of the song and the timeline. That's a very cool feature, but you can change that now in Final Cut. You can change duration of audio. Just do the retime thing. I'm sure it's more sophisticated in Premiere. That's absolutely true. I'm out. The Marvels is calling. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Brett. It was really great meeting you there. We had a great time. We saw each other a lot there. Glad to see you back. Thank you. What a nice thing to say. We have a lot of thumbs up again this morning, a lot of people watching. So I got a lot to get to. This is probably going to be 2 or 3 hours. What's up with your special 10.7 Facebook group you created? What do you mean what's up? It's a Facebook group dedicated to Final Cut Pro 10.7. It's not 10.5, 10.4, 10.6, 10.3, or 10.4. It's specifically for Final Cut Pro 10.7. So that's the future. 10.7 only. I mean, if it has a relationship to earlier versions of Final Cut Pro, if it has some kind of relationship between 10.7 and earlier version, that's fine, but we're going to stick to 10.7 going forward. So if you want to find that, that's facebook.com/groups/Final Cut Pro 10.7, 10.7. You can join that. It's open enrollment right now. At some point, I may make it different, but right now it's open enrollment. They did say that certain requested features haven't been released until they felt it would perform up to the expectation. Exactly, Tangier. Scrolling timeline is a perfect example. Now, I've been told by more than one reliable source, I'm not going to say who, the scrolling timeline has been there since version 10.0. They never turned it on because up till now, the performance wasn't available. Up till now, I think the main thing was waveform redrawing while the thing was scrolling. I think that's the main thing. They've improved both. Judging by the specs of the good old M1 Pro Max machines, there is more to be activated since their bandwidth is higher than M2 or even M3. So let's see what they get out of the reserved space, also out of native machine cores. Absolutely. But they did say, in so many words, they're happy with their developer community filling in feature gaps, which was disconcerting. They also made more clear how requests are prioritized and managed. That was Tangier. They did say they're not going to do some of the things that third-party developers are doing because they're doing such a good job. They also, during the Q&A, gave compliments to DaVinci Resolve. They said DaVinci Resolve is either a good or a great NLE. Very nice. Very nice of them to say that in public. I'm not going to, when I make comments about what they said, I'm not going to say who said it, just it came from the panel. 5 or 6 people were there on the panel. They were all different department heads. Of course, Bill Davis was there, our friend Bill Davis. Greetings from Brazil. Congrats for the summit coverage. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Got a lot of new subscribers. I like that they drop updates when they are ready and not just to satisfy a checklist. Here's what they said, and this is important to consider. Now, don't get the idea that I am 100% satisfied with the pace of how they're updating. I am not. I wish they were updated quicker. More features, faster. Absolutely, I'm with you on that. This is what they said. They are going to update on their own schedule. They're not going to update on anybody else's schedule. So that means they're not going to update what we want. They're going to update on what they feel they can do in an efficient quality update. They're going to update on their schedule, not anybody else's schedule. They hear us. They know we want things. I mean, the scrolling timeline is one. I hope we get Descript type functionality in Final Cut Pro, you and me both. That would be phenomenal. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Hello. How are you doing? Absolutely. What's your coffee roaster again that you like? Well, it depends. There's a coffee roaster in New York that has the darkest coffee I've ever seen in my life. It's called Triple Threat. Very, very dark beans. So I use them. They're called Furnace Hills coffee. Now, that's the acquired taste. That's some pretty strong stuff. It's like espresso in a coffee pot. But I temper that with Mocha Java beans from Pete's Coffee out of Washington State. So about 1/3 Mocha Java and then 2/3 Triple Threat. And I mix them all together and then do that. Have you updated to the new Mac OS? I have not, and I have no intentions to. Everything's working fine in Ventura, but when I do, in other words, if there's something in 10.7 that I want, Final Cut Pro 10.7, that requires Sonoma, I am not going to update my MacBook Pro main operating system because I have 2 legacy RAIDs that presently work with Ventura. I don't think they're going to update those drivers for Sonoma. So I will keep Ventura as my main Mac OS for the time being, but let me show you what I have. I have this little super fast 2 terabyte Thunderbolt. This is a Thunderbolt NVMe SSD. I will install Sonoma on this and I will dual boot from this. This is very fast. It's 2,000, something like that, megabytes per second. I forget what it is. Super fast, directed via Thunderbolt, not USB. Thunderbolt. I will install it on that, and that's when I'll use it. I'm not going to update my MacBook because I got to connect to my RAIDs, and I don't think they're going to update the drivers. Can't wait for Apple bot transcriber. Yeah, transcriber is really cool. It's really cool. We're gonna have some people on with transcription software. All those AI tools lacking some improvements. I think it doesn't meet Apple's quality level. Apple, they said to us point blank, when I brought up the comparison to Aperture, people were concerned that Final Cut Pro was going to go the way of Aperture. That was the very first question, and I asked it point blank. They may have been surprised, but I did thank them first. I did say thank you for the scrolling timeline. Gave them a big plus. I said, people are concerned Final Cut is going to go the way of Aperture. There's a lot of people out there that are concerned about that. I've seen that comment a lot. I told the audience that I would ask them that, and I asked them that very first question. They said, absolutely not. Their development cycle is for the next months and for the next 5 and 6 years at this point already. That's the kind of roadmap they have internally. Perhaps withholding certain features for a while until just the right time is a strategic way of keeping people using Final Cut Pro when they're thinking of leaving. You don't have to leave Final Cut in order to use another NLE. I say it all the time. Editing in an NLE is not a zero-sum game. You don't have to quit one to edit in the other. I use Resolve, Final Cut, and LumaFusion. I use all three of those NLEs. LumaFusion runs on the Mac, for God's sake. LumaFusion runs on the Mac. It runs on iPhones, iPads, Chromebooks, and Android phones, Android devices. So you don't have to quit one. You can just go to one for a while. Try DaVinci Resolve. That's what I'd recommend. I would recommend Premiere because of the subscription model that the stranglehold that they keep you on. You got to pay for the rest of your life or you can't use their app. You can never stop paying with Adobe products. Never. Never. When you're 99 years old, you got to keep paying them the monthly fee in order to use Premiere. If you don't, it turns off. That's what I dislike about the Adobe product. Now, I understand people need Adobe. I understand that. I hope they figure out how to get waveforms to generate faster. They've already done that with the new scrolling timeline. That was one of the things holding up the scrolling timeline. That's so exciting. Absolutely. Hello from New Jersey. Was there any discussion about editing on iPhone? Don't laugh. iMovie is great in pinch for quick. I'm not laughing. I edit with LumaFusion on my iPhone. It is very effective. It's very effective. No, at the beginning, I'd say, I don't know if I can edit. No, once I did it at NAB last April, it's great. It's great. It's not even feature limited. All the features that are available on LumaFusion for the iPad are available on the iPhone. No feature. It's feature parity from one to the other. But as far as Final Cut on the iPhone, I don't think so. I don't think so. LumaFusion's been doing it for a long time, so that's what they did. But I don't think Final Cut on the iPhone is a thing. I'd be surprised if it was. I am definitely coming to the summit next year. Just found out about it a few days before this year's. This year's summit was probably the best summit I've ever been to. It was phenomenal. The energy level from the Final Cut Pro team, it's hard to put that in just, a checklist. Energy level, check. No. It was palpable. The energy level from the Final Cut Pro team, they were such high energy. 90% of the attendees were the same way. Extremely high energy. People were very happy, number one, that we got an update. Number two, that they held it for the Final Cut Pro Creative Summit, people that attended that. So the energy level was through the roof this year. It really, really was. All right. So meaning, Tangier, that if Motion VFX makes auto captions for Final Cut Pro, then Final Cut Pro will not make their own? No, I don't see that at all. I think auto captions are going to be coming to Final Cut Pro. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate that. Where are the hearts coming from? Is that YouTube or Facebook? I don't even know. Thank you very much. No, they're not saying that every feature that third-party plugin developers make, they're not going to incorporate. They're saying some of them, probably the more esoteric ones that shouldn't be in an NLE to begin with. No, I'm sure that auto captions and text-based editing are coming to Final Cut Pro. So is Philip Hodgetts, by the way. They did say that they prefer feedback that explains how requests improve the workflow and not just complaints or feature requests. Well, of course, absolutely. Absolutely. I got a lot of comments. Thank goodness for a long-term roadmap does exist. Years, 5 or 6 years at this point. They said for the next 6 months and for the next 5 or 6 years. That's what they said. So they said, don't worry about the aperture situation. It's not happening. It is not happening. That was a lot of people, that was important. I bailed on Premiere years ago, so happy I did. It's not the app, it's the way that the Adobe company does it. Thanks, Richard, for tracking Final Cut Pro development on our behalf. Just wondering why Apple needs to be so cloak and dagger about it, although why is the FC Pro team so coy and cagey and not more transparent about their intention, what they're working on? I think that's probably Apple corporate more than anything. That's my guess. First off, Final Cut Pro 10.7 is not out. So they told us about a pre-release, a version that's coming out in advance. Okay, 10.7 is not out. They told us in advance about features that are coming in 10.7. This is the 4th time they've done that publicly that I know. 10.4.4 in 2017 or 2018? 2018. They previewed it at the Creative Summit. Didn't come out until December. This year, they previewed to us 10.7. It's not coming out till later this month. A year and a half ago in March, they lit 10.6 point something with dupe detection. They showed that. I mean, they let it be shown on YouTube and stuff. That's another time. And there's another time that they let us see an advanced feature. So they're selective about what they let us see in advance. Thank you for the thumbs up. We got a lot of thumbs up already. Thank you very much. I use Final Cut Pro 90% of the time, but I really need support and resolve for ProRes RAW. I agree with you. Once I have that, I will more easily edit in Final Cut. You mean B-RAW? Oh, you need support and resolve for ProRes RAW. Well, that's on the support team, right? Blackmagic hasn't incorporated that. Jeff, our buyer says, Final Cut Pro is one tool, but you don't have to leave it all together. I will use Final Cut for my short project, move to Resolve for my long form. There's nothing wrong with that workflow, but move back to Final Cut Pro if they add the upgrades needed. The upgrades are coming. I don't know what they are, but this is 10.7.0. This is the new era of Final Cut Pro 10.7 going forward for the next year or 2 years. They will add features along the way. Text-based editing, it's a no-brainer. They're going to add text-based editing, I'm sure. They didn't tell me that, but I'm sure they're going to. Prefer LumaFusion on my M1 Air and Final Cut Pro on my 16-inch to difference between screen size. I haven't tried it on iPhone yet. It's amazingly, you have to watch a few tutorials to get where some of the menus are, but everything is there. I've done it. I did it in NAB. I didn't have prefer LumaFusion. So here's the thing about this Creative Summit. I ran out of time every day. I think I walked to the summit presentations the first morning, Monday. And I was so hungry when I got there. I ordered a big breakfast. I ordered too much. I couldn't eat it all. So I learned that lesson. The rest of the time, I'd get up in the morning. I'd start a live stream, do a live stream for an hour and a half. By the time I got done, I had to get down there. So I just took Ubers back and forth. And also Serena Catania, my dear friend, Serena Catania, not only drove me back and forth a few times because she had her Tesla, we also went out on a cream run for our coffee. She has a coffee maker in her hotel room, and I did too. I brought my system with me, so that was very cool. To meet Chris Hawking in person was great. I could have used Final Cut Pro to complete this feature film without B-Raw Toolbox. He's supported me since the beta version. Yes. I've met Chris Hawking at NAB at least one other time, plus I've had him on the show, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. I think mobile video editing has changed workflows. A feature requested mirrors it, so I'm glad they have this workflow improve point of view. Absolutely. Let me play some videos real quick here. Let me just get a couple here. I'll play. Where in the heck is my video selection? Let me do this. Since we're talking about, oh, we can't do that. Oh, that's interesting. Let me go over here then. Since we're talking about our friend, well, let me start here. This was the Expo night. So the Expo night was very, very strange for me, okay? It was very strange. I wasn't planning on doing this, but this is what happened. I used Ecamm Live because my laptop was right there, and I connected via Ecamm Live with my iPhone with continuity camera. And that was cool because I could walk around. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. 25 thumbs up. It's fantastic. Fantastic. So I could walk around wirelessly, but I didn't realize the screen went black on my phone. I could no longer see what my phone was capturing. I had to look at the MacBook Pro to see what my screen was capturing. So once I started the stream, I just let it go. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. You guys are the best. Let me just do this. Countdown MacBook Pro videos. Is that? Let me see what. So this is the Expo night. Let me just play this one clip here. It's very loud in here. I'm not sure if anybody can even hear me, but we're going to walk around. My other camera, we're going to walk around and do some interviews the best we can with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. We're live.
Yeah.
So what'd you think about the Creative Summit?
I think it's been a really great Creative Summit. A lot of energy.
It is.
More energy than I felt for a while, and I feel like this is like the biggest one in terms of sheer numbers of people.
Yeah, it is. And it has been. And the Final Cut Pro team yesterday seemed very energized and very exuberant,
Yeah.
to say the least. And this whole crowd, I think, is as well.
Yeah, and I've been monitoring Twitter/X, and I noticed there's a lot of hashtags about this event going out. Lots of them.
That's the first one. Steve Martin jumped in there. Let me explain something for future people when they come to the Creative Summit. If you see me interviewing people and you want to get on camera, come over there and just hang out and just raise your hand and I'll get you on camera. Steve was hanging out there. Mark Spencer was hanging out. The Final Cut Bro was hanging out. I interviewed all of them. They'd come up and just hung out of sight until I got ready, and then I'd pull them in and we'd talk. That's the way you get on the Final Cut Pro radio. Final Cut Pro TV. Sorry, over here. Above my Strat. Final Cut TV. Let me see what else we got. I contacted LumaTouch and they said LumaFusion will be able to accept Apple Pro Log to edit it. Yes, of course they will. I'm sure that's coming. CapCut is now entering the conversation among younger people. Conversation. Of course. CapCut's a very cool app, and I think it's a free version. Absolutely. There you go. Let's watch another video. Let me pull up another one here. Since we got Tangier on there, let's pull up Tangier's. Video, because something very funny happened with that. Now, I'm not sure. Here, let me just pull this up. Let's do this. I have to go back and forth. This is live at the Final Cut Pro Expo.
So, met Richard?
This is this.
I had to show up because of Richard. Fair enough.
So, what do you think about the update? Be honest.
Okay, I'll be honest. It's nice. It's a nice, modest update. I don't feel like I particularly need the scrolling timeline.
Get out of here.
So, maybe I'll learn to like it. I'm doing fine without it, but maybe I'll learn to appreciate it. Object tracking, absolutely. I'm very much welcome those improvements. Honestly, I just want to get to the place with Final Cut and Apple where it's not, yay, we got an update. I want something that really just.
I understand.
I
understand, but the thing about 10.7 is this is 10.7.0.
Yes.
This is the beginning of the 10.7 era.
Yes.
The beginning.
I need to interrupt. You guys are live. I opened up Facebook.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And Tangier didn't know that.
Well, I actually had it up there for a second.
Now.
Wait, what does that say?
I didn't have my glasses on.
Put your glasses on.
Wait.
Oh, no.
How do I pull that out really quick?
Facebook.
Wait,
Facebook is what I saw on the X review.
Yeah, I'll get in a second.
This is going over to here.
I'm showing Meta.
And this is broadcasting. This camera. Oh, there you go.
I look much better that way.
Okay. So I'm sending it to my wife and my dad, the people who probably would want to see it.
So that was Tangier and Michael Yanovich, good friend of mine as well. Both of them are good friends. We had a great time at the Creative Summit. I can't explain unless you're actually there. The energy level and stuff that's happening, it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. The energy level. Everybody should definitely consider going next year, especially if they get the price subsidized like they did this year. Absolutely. So let's do some more videos. Here's another, let me show another one here. I got to do this a little bit strange. This is Mike and me watching one of the presentations. I'm not sure which one it was, but it's one of them. One of the presentations.
So that gave me a little bit of hope. And I just try to look back to like the Industrial Revolution where people were paranoid that machines were going to take their.
We were sitting in the back, and he just made those faces. I have no idea what the heck he was doing. Let's do another one. It's really weird. I'm not sure how this works like that. But this is another example. So I was interviewing Steve Martin. Steve Martin was the first person. He got right in there. He was waiting around, and I said, well, he's right there. When I got done interviewing Steve Martin, then Mark Spencer was waiting there, so we got a little video of Mark Spencer. Now, one thing I'm saying, these clips I'm playing are small snippets of the total interview. I have a much longer interview with Steve Martin, much longer interview with everybody. These are just small snippets for this live stream. That's what they are. So here's Mark.
What did you think about the update?
I thought it was great that that there was an update. You know, that there's progress being made, and it sounds like they're working hard, and I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah.
Always want to see more.
This is 10.7.0, not completed 10.7. This is the beginning of the 10.7 era.
Yeah, because kind of you assume, 10.7 sounds like a big thing, to be like a whole bunch of big features.
Right.
And there weren't. You know, there was a couple of things. They're great. They're interesting. They're useful things. And I think we'll keep seeing more. So I'm like, stay tuned. I mean, the fact is, it's a great app. I love the app. The development process has been frustratingly slow relative to the other options in the market, but it's the best option in the market as far as I'm concerned.
You know, scrolling timeline. I was shocked when I saw that icon yesterday. The
scrolling timeline. No, I saw you. I was sitting a few rows behind you, and you did this hallelujah thing.
Like, give me some credit here.
It's being with all of you guys and seeing everybody in person that we just talk to online all the time.
Yes. No,
and
absolutely.
It's so fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's what's thrilling about it to me, is to come to this.
That was another one. Mark was waiting there to be interviewed. He just was right there, because at that point I didn't want to leave the table. My laptop was on the table and I was monitoring via the laptop. I couldn't monitor any other way. So I couldn't leave. I did leave a little bit, and I got another couple of interviews that are further away. So that is very cool. CapCut is crazy. We have a comment. CapCut is crazy. The mobile version is even crazier and has more to offer than the PC version. Well, well, I guess they developed it as a mobile version, mobile NLE, right? I guess that's what they did. So if you've talked, thank you very much for the thumbs up. It's appreciated. We got 26 thumbs up already. Thank you very much. A lot of people are watching. We got 4 hearts. Where do the hearts come from? Are they in 26 thumbs up and 4 hearts? Are they in YouTube or Facebook or Twitter? Because we're broadcasting to all 3. I'm not sure which. Thank you. I'm not sure which. Let me pull this up. And then they also fed us lunch each day. They fed us lunch each day. So let's do hearts in Facebook. Okay, thank you very much. I didn't know that. I didn't know where they were coming from. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's very, 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 very nice you people are doing that. So let's do another. We had lunch outside. We'll do a couple of the lunch segments because, well, just because I want to show you the lunches. This is Trevor Horton, Michael Horton's son. This is the lunch area we had outside. Let me just pull this up. Let me see, where the heck is that? Oh, here we go. I'll pull myself up there. There we go. So this is the lunch area that we had, like a patio outside. It was great each day. The FMC gave us boxed lunches each day and water and stuff. It was really good, a variety of things. So that's Trevor Horton. This is Monday lunch before we went to Apple Park.
Final Cut Pro 10.7?
11.
Well, that would be,
Well, and I think if they do 11, they're going to charge us again, which is fine. I don't mind.
We were just talking about that. Yeah, we said if they did do 11, it was like a whole new thing. I'd be happy to pay for it.
Absolutely.
So that's Trevor, and I said 10.7. This is before they announced 10.7, of course, but I've been talking about that for months. That's not really that much of a surprise. Did you interview iJustine? I did not, but I did videotape her entire keynote. I did videotape her entire keynote. I did not interview her. She's pretty popular, and she has a lot of people, of course, as you can imagine, always around her. I want to show you one thing. Let me see if it's here. Oh, first off, here's one thing I want to talk about. Just I forgot to mention this. Let me put this up for what the heck is that? That's once again that's the wrong camera. Cam link. Here we go. So just for the United States, today's a very solemn holiday. I'm going to put this up there. Just mention it for everybody. Today is Veterans Day. So I want to say honoring all who served for our country on Veterans Day. I want to just mention that because today is the actual day. The holiday was yesterday in the United States, but today is the actual day. So honoring all veterans on Veterans Day. Now, there's something else I wanted to see if they had. Let me see if I can find that. This is the thing I was talking about. Graphics. Let me take that one down. Veterans Day. This is the weird thing I was talking about. I find this very, very strange. Okay? I'm sorry. I find this very strange talking to your kids with goggles on. This is a very peculiar way of advertising those things. If I had kids and I was talking to children, I want them to see my eyes. I don't want to see them. This is very, very peculiar. Other uses of the perhaps software are different, but this one is very peculiar. I find it peculiar anyway. But I wanted to, look at this. So we had this. Look at this. This is in the Final Cut Pro. When you go to report things, look what it says. Already Final Cut Pro 10.7. Somebody jumped the gun on that one. Somebody jumped the gun on that one. Let me see if I can do this house. So here is this is what my Final Cut Pro Creative Summit so far is. 1.5 terabytes of data so far. My Creative Summit master folder, 1.5 terabytes so far. Turn that off. Make sure, I got to keep checking audio. There it is. Make sure audio is good. Come on, switch back and forth to different scenes. Sometimes it's muted. Hearts are coming from YouTube live comment section. Okay. Somebody said Facebook, somebody said YouTube. Thank you very much for both the thumbs up. We got lots of thumbs, 27 and 4 hearts. That's fantastic. Wonder if iPad Final Cut Pro will be able to edit Vision Pro footage. That's an interesting question. Now, here's one thing I have to say. I've been humorously, this is all humor, been talking when I talk about Final Cut for iPad, I call it Final Cut Junior. Well, it is because it's not the full version. The more I see it, the more I like it. Okay, when I see that Final Cut on the iPad on that big giant iPad Pro screen and people that really know how to work it, it's very, very cool. I'm getting attached to it. Is it going to replace LumaFusion? Probably not, but I really, really like it. Trophy Yellow smiling for the best live Final Cut Pro TV show on the internet. Congrats. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I come on here, I enjoy it, but it's mostly interacting with everybody. That's what I do it for, and we have a good time every Saturday. This is a special Saturday. Very few people are going to talk to the kids with Google goggles on. They had to advertise spatial recording before announcing it on the iPhone 15 Pro. Now that's coming in 7.2, that will be the use. Exactly. That's why that vision of looking at your kids and interacting with them with goggles on is very peculiar to me that Apple does that. I just, it's very peculiar. So I want to show one thing. Let me go find that somewhere. Let me go find over here on Twitter. And one of the things that this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing to me. Let me go. Here we go. Let me go back to graphics for a second. This is why I brought my Lumix S5 Mark II X to the Creative Summit. This is the actual light. The version on the left. Let me put that above there. The version on the left, over there, all the way on the left, is the actual light in the room. That's the actual light. That is from a picture from my iPhone 15 Pro Max. This below me is what my Lumix S5 Mark II X shot. It is fantastic for low light. There it is over there. It is fantastic for low light. These are exactly the same time in the exact same room. The one on the left is the actual light in the room. The one on the right is my Lumix S5 Mark II X. And I didn't do any noise correction. I didn't do any lighting. This is directly from the camera. This is exactly why I brought the Lumix S, because a lot of times it was dark. You couldn't see anything. Just wanted you to see that. So we have more comments. Let's go back here. New Apple TV show, The Goggles Family. Does anybody else find that peculiar? It's weird that Apple advertises that scene of a parent supposedly looking at their kids through those goggles. That's bizarre. I mean, if I walk into a room and somebody's got the goggles on, I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk to you with those things on. Take them off and we'll have a conversation. I'm not looking at your fake eyes in the goggles. That's very, very strange to me. Editing by yourself in your room, or if everybody in the room has them on, that's perhaps a little different. But I'm not going to have a conversation with somebody with those things on, because it's not even your actual eyes that it shows up. It's some kind of a whatever. Anyway, will I try them out? Sure, I'll try them. I'm not going to spend $3,500 on them. That's for sure. That is for sure. Did you record to an SSD on your S5? No, I recorded to two 256 gigabyte SD cards. It has a dual slot. I didn't need the SSD because I wasn't recording to ProRes RAW, and I had plenty of space on my SD card, so I recorded on the SD cards. Although I did buy the T7 Shield specifically for the Lumix S5 Mark II. It's 2 terabyte because they don't record 4 terabyte. Now let me show you one thing. This is a 2 terabyte that I bought for the Lumix. It also works for the iPhone. This is a 4 terabyte that I bought specifically for the iPhone, and it works very, very well. Look at the difference in size. 2 terabyte is the silver. 4 terabyte is the silver. 2 terabyte is the Samsung. This is a Crucial X9 Pro. This is a Samsung T7 Shield. The X9 Pro so far is a very fast SSD that works on your phone. What's peculiar is I tested the Samsung S9, the brand new one. The speed is fine on your Mac. It's not fine on the iPhone. I don't know why. I have no idea why, but it's slow. It's half the speed of the Mac on your iPhone 15 Pro. No idea why. No idea. I use Final Cut Pro and CapCut in tandem. Absolutely. I know what you mean. I use more than one. I go to DaVinci Resolve when I have to do captions. It has it built in. I have the Studioverse, so it has it built in. All right, let's go to another video from the luncheon outside in the patio. This is with Brad Olson and Chuck Braverman. Another little video we got. Here we go.
What were you in? Just regular H.265 or 4. I think I shoot 2.4. Now you're being shot in log.
Now I want to know, am I going to be
You're going to look
better
at
color corrected?
Yes. The log footage. Tell them.
Is there an iPhone LUT that you?
Yes. It's in Final Cut Pro 10.6.9. It's in 10.6.9. The log, Apple log LUT came in 10.6.9.
So that was with Chuck Braverman, and once again, this is our lunch. I just happened to be, I talked to them. Can you edit with these drives directly? Absolutely. Absolutely. But, because they're fast enough. They're fast enough. This is they're all connected via USB, and you can absolutely just unplug them and plug directly, but I make a copy first, just to be sure there's no issues. I mean, drives will crash on you, so I make a copy first. Not a problem. So there's that. Let's do this one. I got to close one down and open another one up each time. I don't have to, but that's the way I'm working with it right now. Videos. Here's another one from our luncheon.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty darn good.
Live or are you just shooting?
I go live in the mornings.
Okay.
Making clips. I'm not live right now.
Awesome. It's good.
I'm going to broadcast the Apple presentation live.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll be thrown out. I did that one time in 2017. I was Facebook live streaming from the Apple presentation at NAB when they announced 2 million.
Yeah.
That's my video. Yeah. The next year they said they didn't know. I didn't ask them. I just did it.
Just did it.
But that ain't gonna happen today. I know. No, they'll carry me out. I know that ain't gonna happen.
Have a disguise for this afternoon.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna describe myself as you.
I'm not gonna let you anywhere in there.
Oh no, that's not a good idea.
Some more friends at the Creative Summit. That's where we had our lunch. So we have some more comments here. I think the 4.5 watt power delivery from the iPhone to the SSD does influence the transfer speed. It very well could. That would be absolutely, all my USB-C are way faster on my Mac compared to my 15 Pro Max. No, I've been speed testing the drives from my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And if they don't have the same speed as the Mac approximately, I don't buy them. The T7 does. The T7 Shield does. The Crucial X9 Pro does. They were all the same, approximately the same speed as my Mac. The T9 was half speed going into my iPhone. So it could be a power delivery thing. It shows up. It's just the speed is half what it does on the Mac. I sent that one back because I'm only buying these little teeny ones. Well, I took them all with me. So here's what I have. This is the 3 that I have that I took with me to the Creative Summit. And actually, I took 4. I took this one, which is, I used to back up all my material. This is a Thunderbolt. These are all USB. This is a Thunderbolt. So I had like 10 terabytes of storage space to back up my data each night. Now I made 2 copies of everything. So in case there's any problems, I have a duplicate. Final Cut Pro's energy was very welcome. Final Cut Bros energy. Sorry, Final Cut Bros energy. I got another Final Cut Bro clip. We'll play that one from the Expo. We will play that one from the Expo. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I got to switch things around each time. So this, once again, this is the deal. People who wanted to be on the live stream, when they saw me interviewing somebody, saw me live streaming, waited and just like say, hey, and then I'd call them on the live stream. This is how it works.
Come over here.
All right.
Now this is weird. Continuity camera.
Yeah.
But the screen is black. I got to monitor my MacBook
Boom.
Pro.
There it is. I see us.
So
looks good.
Finally, we're on live. Final Cut TV live.
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot of eyeballs here.
There is absolutely. So I have to keep looking back over there and make sure we're in the screen.
Yeah. It looks good.
So what do you think about the update?
I'm very excited that we got an update. I am excited for the future of Final Cut Pro. I would love a few even bigger features, but I know the Final Cut team is hard at work. So, but I'm extremely excited for the collapsible secondary storyline. I think that's going to change the game, and I wish I could use it today.
Well, at some point it's going to be this month, they said.
Yeah.
Now I got to tell you something. I interview a lot of people. You're the only person that's taller than me so far.
Yeah.
So far, because most people are here or down below.
Right.
So what about the scrolling timeline?
Scrolling timeline is exciting. I could really see the benefits. Oh, we got stuff going on here.
5 minutes and we gotta get rid of it.
Oh, okay. 5-minute warning.
So once again, Final Cut Bro, Dylan Bates is his name. He was waiting right outside. I was interviewing somebody. He was waiting right out of view, and he was waiting there, and I just called him over to come on. So that's, if you ever see me doing a live stream, that's how you do it. If I'm doing a live stream, now don't interrupt, obviously, but just wait there and say you want to come on, and I'll bring you on. Mroto AI was also amazing. George is such a great guy, absolutely. Wow, didn't realize he was so tall. I met him a year and a half ago at NAB. I was leaving the convention center, and two Dylans stopped me, Dylan John and Dylan Bates. Both of them are named Dylan. And they said, hey, Richard Taylor. And we got to know each other. We went to the Super Meet that time and everything. So, yeah, he's definitely tall. He's a tall person, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I think he's the only one that I looked up to when I interviewed. Everybody else is about the same height or a little bit below. So what else do we have? Oh, here, this was one of my favorite events at the Creative Summit. And so what I did was this. Let me show you what I did. What I did was I recorded small segments of everybody. I tried to get everybody's presentation that had them. I recorded small segments of everybody. There's 3 that I recorded the entire way through. The keynote with iJustine, the tips and tricks panel. I recorded that entire thing. I still have a copy of that. And also Storm Smith. She was phenomenal. Her presentation was very, very insightful and phenomenal. I just really enjoyed it, and I recorded the whole thing.
So again, the experience is real and it's valid. And anyone who would show up in that space. But of course, we need to continue to show up and make sure the story is being shared and heard and acknowledged, no question. But again, we need to make sure that if you're not intentional, it can, I'm not saying it will, but just say it could feel like you're tokenizing us. But if you're intentional, work with us. We want to work with you, and we'll work with you if you work with us. Let's do this together. Because again, you just experienced a good 10, 15 seconds of being deprived of that accessibility already. Imagine if it does on a daily basis at work, in film, in captions, there's nothing. If you have film with captions, but no sound, I know that you would rely on the sound, but if that's deprived, what would you do? You would be like having to watch the captions. So it's the representation, it matters as well. All of it comes to play in a significant role. Just something to keep in mind.
She was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Talking about hearing, people with problems with hearing and deaf people and sign language and captions and all. She was on probably 45 minutes. So she's one of the presentations that I recorded the entire thing. iJustine, Tips and Tricks, and Storm Smith. I recorded all three of them all the way through. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but they are there. Let me see what else we have here. Here's somebody you might know. Now, the weird thing was, part of the live stream got pixelated. Okay? Part of the live stream, the stream got pixelated. So this one, I just added a little bit of a cartoon effect to it. So it's not quite, it looks a little bit better than just a straight pixelization. Let's watch this one. Somebody you might know.
What am I doing?
I'm gonna talk to you a second.
Oh, no.
See, look, that's our live monitor right there.
All right.
This is connected via the Mac Pro via continuity camera.
Okay.
But my screen is black over there. I can't see anything. I have to make sure I'm framed up over there.
All right.
So, what did you think about the update to Final Cut?
It is the completion of an idea. Richard, I met you, and you were complaining about a scrolling timeline. And now here we are, after all these years.
I was shocked. Pleasantly.
We're done.
No, we're not done.
We're done.
We
finished.
We're not done.
This is the end of the story.
We're not done. That's the wine talking. We're absolutely not done. But this is a good, solid update, right?
It is.
So that was Sam Messman, of course. He wasn't listed anywhere at any event. He wasn't listed anywhere for any event, but he showed up. Thank God. I love Sam. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. He's the person that got me to the Creative Summit in 2016. Initially, LumaForge, when they were an independent company, used to sponsor me to go to NAB because of Sam. So I'm very, very grateful. Speaking of sponsoring, let me just pull up our sponsors here. Cormelt and Hedge were our two sponsors, plus FMC, not just Cormelt and Hedge, but FMC. They sponsored my trip to the Creative Summit, and I really, really appreciate it. Very good companies, both of them. Let's see what else we have. We have a couple more clips to play. So let me play, Jeff. Let me play this little clip. I'm going to show you how big the rooms are. How big the rooms are over there at the Creative Summit. They'll give you an idea of that. Let me just pull this up real quick. This is one of the rooms.
I want you to see that one of the tools I use all the time is ScopeBox. It is a controlled set of better scopes. I've been running the entire time here. One of the neat things that you can do is you can click and drag. You can click and drag part of the image and say, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you show me what you have there in Final Cut?
So that was Jeff Greenberg all the way in the front, all the way down front was Jeff Greenberg doing one of his excellent presentations. Let's do this one. Here we go. I got to switch things around when I do that. This is Isaac from Hedge.
It's been really good that way.
Did you do any public announcements today that you can talk about? We're live on Facebook.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did
Tell
some.
me about it.
Yeah, so we introduced PostLab. That's camera right there?
Yes, it is. We're monitoring there. It's just weird, but that's continuity camera going to my MacBook, and that's broadcasting.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. So thank you, Richard. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, today we introduced the next generation of PostLab Early Access Preview, and PostLab gave you before the idea of library locking, versioning, and an activity log. But now, in this version of PostLab, not only do you get those for Final Cut Pro, you get those for any creative app under the sun. So
I saw that.
Yeah.
Notes and pages.
Blender, Unity. You add it to PostLab, and you're going to get versioning, locking, activity logging. But then we took it to the next level, particularly for the Final Cut Pro community, and now you get event locking.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the update to Final Cut Pro?
Oh, fantastic. And I know a couple of those items are on your list for quite some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that scrolling timeline is...
I was shocked, pleasantly shocked it came out in 10.7 because I've been waiting for so long. And that is finally here. I was like, wow. But isn't the energy level of this Creative Summit really high? It seems like it's higher than the other ones I've been to.
I would say, seriously, by and large, this is probably the best I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
So really, really happy to FMC and Apple for making this possible.
Yes, and also the Final Cut Pro team had so much energy yesterday. And
yes.
They were looking, you can just tell they were very exuberant about what's out now and what's possibly coming out.
They were glad to have us, and we were glad to be there. So
absolutely.
What more can you ask for?
So that was Isaac talking about there were some things that they showed that I couldn't talk about, and I wasn't sure what I could talk about, what I couldn't. So fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. I still got more clips to play. You guys, thank you. We got 31 thumbs up and 4 hearts. Fantastic so far. Let's go ahead and pull this one up. This is somebody that I met for the first time. This is her first Final Cut Pro Creator Summit. This is the first one, Jen Jager. You're being filmed in ProRes Log. This is the first time?
This is the first time.
There you go.
What an amazing moment. Thank you.
It absolutely is an
Thank you
amazing
for capturing this moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Amazing.
So I was downstairs in the lobby, I think it was Wednesday night. Yeah, it was Wednesday night. And Jen came over and introduced herself. Very, very, very nice. I was just sitting there relaxing, and she came over and introduced herself. This is the lobby. This is the Aloft Hotel. This is the lobby. This is empty, of course, right now. So that's pretty cool. What else do we have? Oh, the bus. Here we go. And then I'll show before we go to the bus. So all these years I've been saying to both Bill Davises, I've never seen both you guys together in the same place at the same time. Well, look at this. Here they are. Proof that there's 2 Bill Davises. This was at the Apple Spaceship Campus. I got permission before I took this picture. I got permission from Bill. I said, can I take a picture of you 2 guys together at the same place at the same time? There's Bill Davis 1, Bill Davis 2. I'm not sure which one is 1 and which one is 2. And they usually say the other Bill Davis. I'm not sure which one is which there. But I wanted to show that. Fantastic, fantastic. We got a lot of viewers. We got a lot of thumbs up. And what else we have some more here. We got this one. This is just a little clip of being on the bus going to Apple campus. Little clip of that. Then we got some more clips. Thank you, Ernest. And what else do we have? Oh, here we got another one of these. We got a lot of things. Let me see. Where is Chuck Brainstorm doing base lightning? Huh. Oh, here we go. Let's do this one. So when I was at the hotel, I did some interviews, sit-down interviews. So we'll just watch this one real quick. Once again, these are just snippets, small snippets of the total amount of footage that I have. I have 1.5 terabytes of video files from the Creative Summit. These are just small little segments. Gabriel Spalding.
So here we are at Final Cut Pro Creative Summit 2023. Apple announced Final Cut Pro 10.7 to us exclusively worldwide, then announced it to the rest of the world. So what did you think about the Apple presentation first? We were at Apple Park.
I was reassured. I mean, I'm a big die-hard Final Cut guy, but the last few years things have gotten a little bleak as far as the update cycle. None of the features that they announced or anything I specifically requested, but they're all going to be super useful. And we also got a glimpse and a hint of some other things. So I feel really optimistic right now.
And
it feels good to be a Final Cut user again.
Good to be a Final Cut user again. That's a great quote from Gabe. Tangier says, shout out to the young women who attended every day with their baby to learn Final Cut Pro in order to grow a YouTube channel. That was fantastic. I'll be training her a little bit. Yes, that was. I noticed her every day. Let me see what else we have here. Oh, we have our friend, of course, Chris Hawking. We have Mr. Chris Hawking here. And we have Brett from Brett FX is also on camera for a little bit. Let's go there.
We are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Hey, Internet!
Chris Hawking. Hey, get out. Oh, there we are over there. Chris Hawking came all the way from Australia specifically for this one update.
I did.
Because you wanted to get rid of scrolling timeline out of right? You wanted to cross it off.
I just went in there on the first day and I just clicked a few buttons and now you have scrolling timeline. Are you happy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you sent it to him. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's been awesome. It's been such a cool conference to come here. It's a lot of money to come from Australia, as you can imagine. But just the Apple Park visit alone is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And it's such an amazing thing to see that campus.
So besides scrolling timeline, do you have any other favorite features?
My favorite feature is one they didn't actually talk about, is the reveal in browser has now been fixed. So it will, say for instance, you have a clip in the timeline that belongs to a keyword collection. If that keyword collection's open, now if you reveal in browser, it will go to that keyword collection.
They didn't even mention that.
They didn't have time to mention it, but they showed it in the demo room.
Did they show it? Okay.
Sorry. So these are just short little clips. Thank you. These are short little clips for. I have 1.5 terabytes of data, and these are just short little clips that I'm playing from. I just selected a few. It's not everybody, but I interviewed everybody that I wanted to. It was a good time. I had a good time. Our friend Philip Hodgetts.
We had an update, Final Cut Pro 10.7.
Yes.
And as usual, no matter what you do, everybody's not going to be happy. I'm happy. I'm very happy
Yeah.
with the update.
Well, I'm ecstatic with the update because it did not include text-based editing.
Do you have a favorite feature from 10.7 when they introduced it?
I love the scrolling timeline. I mean, the other things are useful, and any individual editor will use them to one degree or the other. But to me, the scrolling timeline is the one that I will use every day.
100% agree with you.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. So I'm going to thank you very much for the thumbs up. We got 31 thumbs up so far. I think that's about most of the. Let me see if I got any more. I think that's most of them for today. Yeah, I think we got everybody. So one of the things, if you didn't attend, I want to re-emphasize, the Final Cut Pro team is on the ball. They have a roadmap for Final Cut Pro for the next 6 months and for the next 5 to 6 years. That's what they said at their Q&A. They are going to update Final Cut Pro on their schedule. They're not going to update Final Cut Pro on our schedule, what we want. Unfortunately, I'm with you on that. I'd like to see more updates faster, but the fact is that the scrolling timeline after all these years, like I said, I'm the Final Cut Pro optimist. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not an Apple fanboy or a Final Cut Pro fanboy. But I am a proponent of both. I do like Apple hardware more than I do any. I don't even own a PC. I don't own any Android device. I don't allow either one of them in my house. But I'm not a fanboy. I don't just follow along blindly and take everything that they give us. I'm listed on apple.com for Final Cut Pro resources twice. Number 1 is the Final Cut Pro Radio podcast, and number 2 is FCPX.tv. Okay? FCPX.tv. I'm also listed for both of those, and one of the things that I've always liked about their description is they say Final Cut Pro commentary. That's what they actually say, which is, pretty accurate. So let me just pull up one more thing here. Not one more, but a few more things. Let me just go here. Top social, Facebook. I can't see very well. Here we go. Visit page. I'm just typing a note here real quick. Let me pull that up. There we go. Just takes a second here. Just going to pull this up. There we go. So this is the Final Cut Pro. I just started this yesterday, Final Cut Pro 10.7. Now the idea is people say, what is this, another Final Cut Pro group? Yeah, it is. This is only for Final Cut Pro 10.7. This is not for any other versions of Final Cut Pro. If it has a relationship to Final Cut Pro, that's fine. I mean, if it has a relationship to Final Cut Pro 10.7, that's fine. This is only for Final Cut Pro 10.7. I mean, obviously there'll be a little bit of overlap, but I don't want This is specifically for Final Cut Pro 10.7 when it is released. Obviously, it's not released yet. It's not for Final Cut Pro 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, or 10.5, or 6, or 7. Or 6. Final Cut Pro 10.7, for the most part. There'll be a little bit of overlap, but this is not just another Final Cut Pro group. This is the future of Final Cut Pro going forward. That's why I started that. So you can find it on the web, facebook.com/groups/Final Cut Pro 10.7. Let me just pull that up there so you have it. Right now we have open enrollment. Anybody can join. Copy. Anybody can join. And I'm looking forward to 10.7. I will not be going back to 10.6, 5, or 4 unless I really, really have to. I'll be looking forward to it if just for the scrolling timeline. I've been waiting for that for so long. Let me just do this. We'll put this up. And we want to do that. I want to do opacity full. There we go. Facebook.com/groups/Final Cut Pro 10.7. Going to reduce that a little bit. Like I said, right now it's open to anybody. If it gets right now, we just opened up yesterday for the first time, so we got 150 people already. But that's where you want to go if you want to stick to Final Cut Pro 10.7. Dozens and dozens of other groups, including myself. I have Final Cut Pro Tips and Tricks that has 11,000 members. I got Final Cut Pro Radio TV, which is Final Cut Radio TV, which has over 2,000 members. This is going to be dedicated to Final Cut Pro 10.7 and up. And up. So if you want to join it, do. If you don't want to join it, you don't have to. That's obviously the case. But you're the best. Let me see what time it is. All right, we've been on for almost 2 hours. Fantastic, everybody. Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for 32 thumbs up, 4 hearts already. Lots of viewing. I put up over 8 hours of live streaming from the Creative Summit, over 6 different sessions. I really enjoy this. Once 10.7 comes out, I'll probably come back on that, whatever day that is. If it's this week, I'll come back on. We'll do a live stream, and we'll see what actually is working, how the scrolling timeline works, etc. Tangier says, speaking of which, I would like to reveal and find it for my clip in the timeline rather than having to go to the browser first. I know what you mean. That would be that. I like that all the time. Same with going up to the inspector all the time. I'd like to just see a right click and a little HUD appear in Final Cut. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get some lunch. Thanks for everybody for all the accolades for my streaming at the Creative Summit. I have 1.5 terabytes, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of footage. So I'll put together a short video for the Creative Summit, but I wanted to play clips exclusively for you first. Joined, leave a like and subscribe. Thanks, Richard. Thank you very much. I forgot about that. Subscribe there on YouTube. A like and subscribe. Have a good day. Excited for the scrolling timeline. Yeah, so I was going to call it, something scrolling timeline, but I think 10.7 works better. Go over there and join. It's open enrollment right now. We have over 150 people, less than 24 hours. It'll be up to thousands, I'm sure, in a short while. If you're not going to use 10.7, there's no sense in joining. If you're going to complain, of course you can post your opinion about 10.7, but this is not for 10.6, 10.5, 10.4. This is not a general place. This is 10.7 going forward. I'll talk to everybody later. You're the best, absolutely the best. Thanks for tuning in.